All right. Oh boy. All right then. Hard mode activated because this is a tricky one for me. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines
Oh,
2.
yeah.
Um, I kind of like it, but I
Mm,
don't recommend most people play it
yeah.
for a lot of reasons. Because number one, there's the Vampire the Masquerade baggage,
Mhm.
where this is not that. This is not really a good sequel to that. Original Bloodlines was a fucked up PC RPG. It had a bunch of issues, but it had a lot of really cool elements to it, and RPG fans really enjoyed it. This game is not an RPG. This game is like a pseudo fake RPG with like the illusion of choice, and it's essentially a very very light Dishonored. Um, and I say very light,
Yeah.
but like in terms of you doing some stealth, doing some basic first person combat, you can blink, you can use some abilities that are very cool. I'm getting into the weeds, but essentially for me, it's like this weird game that I really like the story. I really like the vibes. I really like the atmosphere. I was happy to play a vampire something. I also went into it knowing that it wasn't going to be a good sequel to the original game because they've shown it recently and like you very clearly could see the game and go, oh, that's
Yeah.
they're not really making an RPG there because
Mm-mm.
the game has been through a lot. A different studio ended up working on it. So for me, playing it was kind of a fascination just to see what it was.
Mm.
Mhm.
And that was kind of like the enjoyment I got out of it. I'm like, what the fuck is this game? Like it's clearly hodgepodged here and there. It's clearly messy here and there, cobbled together, but had some interesting things. It also kind of reminded me of like older games. It so in kind of a negative way for most people,
Mm.
it is the Deus Ex to Deus Ex Human Revolution,
Right.
where Human Revolution very much like, oh, it's still a Deus Ex game. You have all this choice, but it's not. It's nowhere near as like intensely detailed as the original was, and it does a
Do you mean the
similar
Invisible
thing.
War, or do you mean
No,
the oh,
original
you mean like
Deus
the
Ex.
the reboot?
Yeah, original
Okay,
Deus
okay.
Ex to Adam Jensen.
Got it. Okay,
Um,
cool.
Even in terms of like it will do the thing where it's like, oh, you've been trying to play stealthy and you have a couple of like stealth attributes and here's a boss that you just have to fight melee. Like
Okay,
there's no,
right.
it does that quite a few times.
Great.
But on the positive side of that, it reminded me of like weird old like lonely games where you're wandering around like the snow ridden streets of Max Payne 1, you know, in a
Mm.
blizzard, or just like the weird kind of janked up but fun first person aspects of like an Escape from Butcher Bay, or even like the Darkness, because the Darkness had a lot of wandering around and talking to weird NPCs and stuff like that. So it felt kind of like a throwback game to me, and also an interesting vampire one because you're constantly coercing people to follow you into a dark alley so you can suck them off and get there. Sorry, excuse
Phrasing,
me.
Jake. Phrasing. Come on, man.
Sorry. Suck them up. Uh,
Suck 'em
suck them,
dry.
suck them dry.
Fucking
That
right.
was it.
That's
Thank
right.
you. So there's a lot of that. It's a lot of vampire stuff that I like, and where the game is at its best is just traversing around the city. So it's like a noir tinged, snowy Seattle,
Okay.
and essentially it's like a small hub city that serves as like the you get to place. You find side quests, you go to the next mission. So you're wandering these streets. And now because you have vampire abilities, uh, there's the temptation to just do a super run or force jump and shit like that, right? But um, you have to preserve the masquerade. That is the whole idea of like the secret of the vampires. So
Mm.
you can't really push your abilities too hard when you're walking on the streets. Now, what it does encourage, which I found was really interesting, was like as soon as you walk out of a building or you're walking down the street, you're constantly looking for like an alleyway and hoping there's no people down there. So you can instantly dart down that alleyway, jump and vampire climb up a scaffolding, and then get up to the rooftops where you're empowered to just run super fast, launch off a ledge, jump to the next, glide around like a spooky vampire. And I really like that. I thought that was really cool. So the game had a lot of that, and the combat is weird. I kind of like all the abilities, but the feel to it isn't always that great. It's got a lot of like
Right.
repetitive finishing moves. It desperately needs a lock on. Enemies
Okay.
just kind of charge you and spam you with melee hits.
It's first
But
person, right?
yeah, it's first person, but
What?
when it's good, it's actually pretty sweet because you can, telekinesis pull an enemy towards you, bite their neck, then you can like telekinesis pick up a guy's gun, and then you're just holding the gun in the air and you're like making the gun fire at people, and then you can get like an ability where you just do one big vampire claw slice and cut off a dude's head. You eventually get the blink ability. You can kind of do a recall ability. You can make people's blood boil and explode. You can mind control people to make them fight each other. So like there is a lot of that cool stuff. It's just
Mm.
messy.
Mm.
So I liked unpacking a lot of that stuff, learning a lot of that stuff, but then it falls short with a lot of the other stuff. Like choosing your vampire clan doesn't really mean much, and it doesn't really, in the original game, it was like an RPG thing where it was like, okay, I am this clan, I have all these attributes, I'm gonna have these types of choices. You don't really get that here.
Well,
It's so
especially
much more
because
surface level.
originally 2 of them were going to be DLC.
Yeah, which also was like
It's
the
so
worst
wild that they
move
tried to do
possible.
that. That's really crazy.
Which also, because it's a self-inflicted wound twice, because yeah, on the one hand, like people are like, well, why wouldn't I be able to choose all the classes?
Mm.
But they're so threadbare that if I
Right.
did pay for 2 of them, I would have
Right,
been
I see.
so pissed. I'd be like,
Yeah.
why did I pay for this? Because a lot of it is like you have a skill tree that is the one, but then you can just earn and pursue and unlock skill trees of the other vampire clans.
Mm.
So a
Oh.
lot of it doesn't really matter anyway. And that's the problem with the game, is like all the little bits of RPG stuff don't matter, and it just
Mm.
feels like an illusion of choice. And I would have rather of it not had any of that at all,
Yeah.
and just went all in on a very simple first person vampire combat adventure.
Mm.
Because when it does that, it's really good, and I like the story. I like the characters. I like asking these characters all these questions and learning about the Dark Universe lore and stuff like that. And there are
Mm.
campy characters. There
Mm.
are trashy characters.
Sheriff
Like,
Benny Muldoon.
but yeah, Sheriff Benny
Sheriff
Muldoon.
Benny
Love
Muldoon's
him.
intro is maybe one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
It's also beautiful though at the same time, like with the way the neon was behind him. Wait.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but I was
Oh,
laughing.
not when you meet him when you
We
meet him on the rooftop.
first time, and the camera pans over and his character model is just crouching there for like a beat, and
Yeah,
then he does
yeah.
this big jump in. He goes, "Hey, yo, I'm Benny Muldoon."
Yeah. It's got some style to it though, and it's got a very like weird vibe to it, and that is kind of why I gravitated to it, why I was drawn to it, why I kept playing it, was because it just felt a little different than anything I had played recently.
Mm.
It's just got so many elements that are not great or really undercooked. So I feel like it's still going to find an audience. I just think like if you went out and bought it right now, you'd be like really disappointed. You'd be like, what the hell is this? If you're like a vampire pervert and maybe you really like the Dark Universe and like the Vampire the Masquerade stuff, you might like it. But if you were just a fan of the original game and was expecting a sequel to that, it's not that at all. What it is like a weird half-baked vampire game that you're either going to find some charm in like I did,
Mm.
or you're going to think it's a complete disaster.
Yeah, I mean, it's sitting at 55% mixed on Steam. So, like, 50% of the people who have bought this product liked it. They gave it a
Yep.
thumbs up. So, that's cool. But yeah, obviously, it just seems like it's, just sort of using the IP to pull people in rather than actually trying to deliver on what that IP truly is.
It's a shame, and it would have
Mm.
honestly. So I've seen some people say, because your character, you awaken as an elder vampire, so it's kind of like how they're like, why you're so powerful and you're so special, right? And you also have this like legend behind you where you are known as the Nomad, and people refer to you a lot in the game as that. And a lot of people have been saying, if this was called Vampire the Masquerade Nomad, just kind of like its own Vampire the Masquerade experience, I think it would have been received better, because it's trying to write the check that the original game made, but with no money in the bank account. That was a bad analogy, but yeah, you got what I mean.
Sure. For sure.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I will not play this. There's too many other things that I want to play right now, and this is not very high on the list at all. Had it really popped off and been like, yeah, actually they managed to pull it off, I would have been really keen for this, to be honest. I know that was a slim chance given the development of that game and what have you, but yeah, look, it is what it is. They went through hell to try and get out the door. They did
Yeah.
the best they could. Clearly, it is enough for some people. It's definitely not enough for people who truly like the series.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a real bummer. But I'm sure this will be like the last Vampire the Masquerade game. No, that's not true actually, because this license is just kind of farmed out, right? Like we just get some of these vampire games from time to time. Be the
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
Bloodlines game, I guess, but I'm sure we'll see other Vampire the Masquerade games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
mean, I wonder how things. I mean, it was originally Hard Suit Labs, and now it's the
yep.
Chinese room.
Mm.
I know Still Weeks the Deep didn't like set the world on fire in terms of sales.
Yeah.
I don't think this is gonna do well. Certainly not for a game that's been in development for 7, 8 years.
Mm.
Which
Yeah, and then, like even too like the fact that it was so out there, like with the previous developer, it had been revealed. It even had like pre-orders and
well,
everything.
it was a
Mm.
completely different story too. So I just did a video at GameSpot about like here's everything to know. So it's fresh in my mind, but it's originally it had the narrative director was the guy who worked on the original game. It was Hardsuit Labs. You were not the nomad. You were
You were like a
fresh.
thin blood,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And so your mere existence is what is sparks off the fighting, the infighting between all the vampires in Seattle. And then development changed. A lot of people, like pretty much everyone left. They rebooted it. It almost got cancelled, and then they kept delaying this. And I played it at Gamescom, and even back then I remember thinking, I feel insane. Like I read positive previews coming out at Gamescom, and I was like, there could be something in there, but the actual product that was at Gamescom was not it. And playing the first 2 hours again,
Mm.
nothing changed.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it was, I
It's
will say, Stu, if you've got it, the footage, it's the same. Like, there's so many repeated animations. And I know that is not like the make or break fucking thing. The animation when you suck someone's blood and their eyes bulge, I like that was when I had to stop playing because I just couldn't. I kept laughing at it. I was
yeah, it
like,
looks
I
old
felt
and
bad. It just looks,
yeah.
and it's like it's a miracle any game ever gets made at all, let alone one with such a troubled development as this.
Mm.
But the reuse of those animations, especially there's like one sneak kill animation thing.
There's one
Even
good finisher in combat, and
yeah,
the one
yeah,
good
that's the
finisher in
one.
combat looks like $1,000,000.
Yeah.
The first time you experience it, you go, "Holy shit, this
Mm-mm.
is gonna be awesome!" And then it's just that same animation.
The thing that got me is walking around that, and I remember saying this, is like walking around the building that you wake up in at the very beginning of the game. You walk
Mhm.
around, and there is a portrait of a woman that is in basically every room you go in. And I was like,
Yeah,
gang, just don't have it. Just don't put
yeah.
it in there. Put it in maybe once or twice. That's fine. Does not
It's
need to be in every
such
single room.
there's something to unpack. Like, is it weird? I'm struggling with this, right? Because I did the game ranks before you buy video, where I was able to like really make note and really rattle off like all the systems, why I think some of these systems don't work, why I like this, why I don't like that. But now I'm still like, I'm sitting on the game. I've like completely finished it now. And I want to do a video like on my channel, like how I do here, where I
Mhm.
just yap about it. And I'm struggling to find it's so hard to talk about like a game that like I enjoyed playing, even though I know it is very not good and I like shouldn't tell anyone to play it.
So wait, you're
Listen,
saying you
like,
finished this game,
Yeah.
you enjoyed it,
Yeah.
and so
But like
you're
I don't
saying,
think
but you know that it's not good, or you think
yeah.
it's not good.
Yeah.
But like that's the most interesting type of video to make.
Yeah, I know.
That's the most
it's just
watchable
hard
shit
sometimes
ever.
because with this one specifically, it comes with so much. It's not just like, oh, it's just bad. It's also like, well, it's also not what Vampire the Masquerade people wanted. Oh,
Yeah.
it's also not what Bloodlines 1 people wanted. And it's just as weird. Like, it's not something I would say go out and buy right now. But I think like in a couple of years from now, like if you stumble upon it and you play it, you're like, it's a weird little fucked up game, you know?
Sure.
And sometimes I like those.
I
Sometimes I just
Absolutely.
like those.
I think
And I
it's
just
gonna
like
have.
talking about them.
I think it's gonna have a really good speedrunning community.
Really? Why?
it's just that like kind of jank that I think people could abuse really easily to
Oh, I
make
see,
some
I
real
see.
fun
Yeah,
shit.
sure. That sounds cool.
I just like I think I like, and I was kind of what I was saying at the start. Like, I think I enjoyed seeing a lot of the like missed potential, and even thinking what could have been, and how they could have gone further with things, because it has time jumps. It jumps back to like a couple of weeks ago where you piece things together, but then it also jumps back to the 1920s, and there's like a sub mystery
With
there.
Fabian.
And you have so you wake up as a vampire, but then you also have a dead vampire in your head talking to you, right? But every time you talk to him, he's like this noir gumshoe weird guy. He kind of sounds like, what if Garrus was like,
Hey, oh,
what if
hey,
Garrus Vicarian was kind of like,
Private DI, like a detective.
No,
yeah,
no, no.
he's got a similar, he's got a totally similar
I'm
type voice.
not
No, you
allowing
don't
that.
think so? Okay.
No.
But okay, but like it goes down like with like codec it's essentially like long sequences that are codec conversations of like him just talking to the guy in his head. And there's so many parts of the game that are just steeped in neon and noir. And when you get on top of a rooftop and you're looking around at this little hub city, you're like, this could be so fucking cool, man. I don't know. I'm just so hung up on like how much cooler it could have been.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Interesting.
potential in it, and it is, yeah, just doesn't come together.